All right, welcome back to the channel. What we got going on today? Here's the Tiguan again. Going to do a little maintenance on it. Right, last night I went ahead and popped this bad boy off, the top part of the PCV. Pulled that off, replaced that with just a Dorman brand off of Amazon for like 40 bucks instead of $267 or so for that whole piece. But today we're going to do a spark plugs, pull those up. I'm at about 128,000, 129,000 on the vehicle, and I don't remember the last time I did them, so I'm due for that. And then I also got a belt that I might end up doing today or a little bit later, I'm not sure. First step you do, right, you got to pinch these little clips, pinch them, kind of push in at the same time on the whole harness, and then pull out. It's easier with two hands, so now that I've shown you kind of how to do it, I want to put this down and go ahead and use both hands so I don't break these little clips off and make this job a lot. Now that those are off, you can see I've got dielectric grease on all of them just for a little bit better connection. And I've got the red tops on here because it has APR stage 2 high torque tune. Back when APR actually did a stage 2 tune, I went with APR because at the time the shop I was working with was an APR dealer. I was able to get the best deal on that tune. All right, I'm going with some NGK OEM replacement, right? Gapped at 0.32. If you can see right there, these already come pre-gapped. It's about a 0.31. I'm gonna slide it over and force it over 3.2, and I'll gap it, make sure it's proper. Sometimes you can gap them smaller depending on if you're doing a little bit more higher horsepower, or you're trying not to blow the spark out. Just a basic NGK replacement, iridium spark plugs. All right. Local O'Reilly's are like 40 some dollars and some change with the military discount. I think Euro Tuning's got a set for like 30 bucks for the same four. Fun part is getting these up off, right? I make a kit, I make a little tool to help pull them off. A lot of times they're a lot harder to pull off. The Audi, they're a pain in the butt. On these two, I also put dielectric grease in the bottom, right? Give it a little bit better connection, a little bit easier to slide on and off as well. I might clean that up and put some new ones on, some new dielectric grease. This last one here was a bit of a pain due to the leverage. I couldn't get my fingertips on it as much, but a little screwdriver. Be careful not to crack any of the plastic, and you can pry it up a little bit to pop it out. Get yourself, you can use actual socket, has the rubber grommet in there to help pull out the spark plugs. I went up to Walmart and grabbed this real quick because all my tools are still in storage. I haven't gotten them over to the house yet, but usually just a regular socket, and then I use a magnet or some really long needle nose to pull all the spark plugs up. Putting them back, I just gently drop it in. I'll show you. Gently drop the spark plug in and then put the socket on it and tighten it back up. There we go. We got the old plugs, same order I pulled them out. They'll look pretty good, right? Old plugs and new plugs, same. Actually, I think I went a degree cooler. I ran the 8s on this one. This is OEM with the 7, right? So that number changes. The higher the number, the cooler the plug is. So we'll see how this runs. So I guess it's not a direct OEM that I'm putting back in an OEM plug, but I had one stage cooler plug in there before. Right, as you see, just gently drop it in. All right, another better step you can do prior to pulling those out, use some compressed air. All right, spray in there, spray out any dirt or grime that may have been stuck in there. So those are all dropped in. Now I'm just going to tighten them up. All right. So when installing these, this little ring here, this little gasket is a crush washer. Right. When you put them in, you can drop them in there. I tightened it up by hand first, and then I use a ratchet. When I ratcheted it in, tightened it up, until I had some resistance. Then I did about another quarter of a turn, made it nice and snug so that it crushed this washer, this gasket. But you don't want to make it too tight, cross thread it or make it too tight so when you go to pull it out. Also, if you want, you can put some anti-seize on the threads to make it a little bit easier next time as well. Some people say to do it, some people don't. I didn't have any today, so I didn't do it. Now we're just putting these back in. They do go in. You'll see the little cuts right here, the little indents, detents or whatever. They're gonna slide right back in there, right? Put them back on. And then you can kind of hear it snap when it goes into place, right? That's that rubber grommet around there snapping in place and it's snapping onto the plug. Same thing here, all right? Snap in, snap in. All right, make sure you got a good connection. Otherwise you might end up with a misfire. Sometimes you can disconnect this if you need more leverage. Disconnect this. I believe that's the cam sensor, right? Disconnect that, and then you can get some more leverage to get this harness back if you need it. I didn't need to do that. I think I had to do that on my CC at one point. That is done. Plugs are in. I didn't exchange or change out the actual coils. They're still good. I don't remember the last time I did them. They got part numbers on them. I know one set I bought from good old Amazon. They said they're legit. I think they had part numbers. I don't remember if they went bad. I don't remember if they're on this one or my CC. But I know I've got some extras stashed in my toolbox in the storage unit once I get that up. This intake, cold air intake, is actually for Mark 5, Mark 6 TSI motor. It does work. It does fit for the most part. This back tab is broken, right? So it doesn't attach to that. So it does lean a little bit. What I did is I put a little extra rubber hose and zip tied it around that coolant line. So when it rubs on it, it won't rub through. And then a little rubber grommet on top of that little nub so that it doesn't rub on there and rattle. This is supposed to be attached to that as well. On a Mark 5, Mark 6, it will set up that way. And yes, the engine bay is extremely dirty. I haven't washed it, haven't keep it clean. It's more of the wife's car now. Right, I've got the A6 that I daily drive and the Mark 3 VR that I've done. That's been sitting due to a bad clutch. All right, there you go. We got startup with the new plugs in. Started right up, no issues. Right, like I said, I'm at 128,891, so 129 so far. All the regular maintenance done on it, time and change. Ended up putting a new turbo in it through a warranty, aftermarket warranty I had. You know, freaking all types of stuff. I definitely got the $2,500 worth of that warranty. They actually cut me off on it, so it exceeded the value of the car.